Okay class, I hope this video finds you well. I want to show you the print that we're going to be making as part of this demo today. This is a two-color silk screen made with paper stencils. Another tool for your toolbox. Essentially all you need is newsprint, ink, your squeegee and a screen, paper, and your paper towels and everything to clean up. So this is the most direct, simple way to make a silk screen possible. It's very quick. It's pretty easy. The only downside to this is it's limiting because you're doing this by paper cut stencil. So when you make your design, for your print, make sure you keep this really simple. I want you to do a two-color print, and I want you to do an addition of 10. Okay? Imagery is up to you, but just keep in mind that it just needs to be simple imagery. Okay? Paper stencil method coming up. First thing I want to do is I want to have a couple sheets cut down. We're going to be working relatively small. See, I have my paper cut here. Let's see what size that is. Get the ruler. So I have my paper cut down to 12 by 9. And that fits really nice on the screen. 12 by 9. It's a good size to work with. And this is just Canson watercolor paper I'm going to be printing on. So a quick run through of what we're doing is I'm going to cut a stencil out of this, and then we're basically going to screen print through the stencil onto paper. So this is a way to make prints really low tech. You don't need to have any emulsion or any fillers or anything like that. However, the downside is you're gonna get you can only do so much with this, right? So this is good for basically just nice solid shapes, really simple stencils, not real tight stencils, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I think I'm gonna start off, I might cut this, let's see, do this in half. I don't know, I might trim this down just a little bit, trim this off. So I'm just going to do a really simple shape. How about, I'll just do, I don't know, we'll do a star. Star first. For this first part of the demo. I got two sheets stacked up because I want to have another stencil ready in case my first one goes south. So, is that going to fit? Just barely. Oh, that's okay. Maybe I'll just do it smaller. Just draw this a little smaller. So I'd keep your paper size between, 12 by 9, no larger than maybe 11 by 17. Alright, where's my razor? I'm going to cut this out. Okay, paper stencil. So, next step is I'm going to put my paper down. I'm going to mark off where I want it. Oh, get my cutting mat out of the way, because I don't need that at the moment. Make sure you put down a foot near the frame so you have a nice trampoline on your screen print, on your screen. Because if you don't have this, it'll lay completely flat and then it'll just flood out. So I want to make sure somewhat in the middle. This is maybe I'll move it over a little. So I'm going to be pulling my prints this way. Alright, so let me get my paper tabs. Paper tabs I was using for my last silk screen. Just mark this off. I'm going to retape these down. Okay, so I'm pretty much set up. I've got my tabs in place, so I can put my paper in the same every single time. I got my stencil cut. I'm gonna put my stencil, I'm gonna kick it off a little bit to the side. Wherever I place the stencil is where it's gonna land on the paper. Notice how the stencil is larger than my, quite a bit of room outside of where the printable image is, this being the printable image. So if I do a stencil, I don't want to have this tiny stencil. I need plenty of room, and you're going to see why in just a moment. So I'm going to kick this off over here. I'm going to print on the smooth side of the paper. That's the smooth side. Again, this is Canson watercolor I'm using. I'm going to put my stencil here. I'm going to lay this down. Put my ink on top. I don't want to put my ink up here because I don't want it spilling all over the place. I could take this off, but as long as I keep my ink and it doesn't go past here, I'll be fine. But if you have the tape, shipping tape or something, that probably best is to cover that off, and I might do that. So I'm going to put my ink across the top here. I want to move this up just a little bit more. Move it down a little bit, I think right there. Put my ink on top. Take your squeegee. Make sure the squeegee is greased up. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of this ink. I don't want to grab all of it. I got my paper ready to go, so when I print, I can just keep going. I'm going to try this both ways. I'm going to try without flooding, and then I'm going to try with flooding. I think ideally I'd want to not flood it so much because I don't want to wear down the... I don't know, I don't want to risk messing up my stencil, but we'll try it. Okay. Pull this across. Okay. Squeegee off to the side. Alright. Lift this up slowly. And you'll see how the stencil is sticking to the screen. That's what we want, right? See, I have my print. It looks pretty sharp here and here. It looks a little weak there. It should probably resolve itself here along the way. So if I'm moving quickly, I can just bang these out. And that might be best using a paper stencil. I'm going to flood the last one. So I'm going to grab a little more of that ink. Just a little bit more. That looks nice and clear. It's really nice and sharp. I don't know if you can see that. Looks good. So if you're doing this like without flooding, you got to move quick because the ink is drying in the screen as we talk. Grab a little more of this ink. Just enough to print it. So this is my last one, so I'm going to try flooding it just to see what happens. I don't do this every day, paper stencil method. So maybe I'll just, I'll take this ink that I have here and I'll flood it. See how this works. It's not bad. I think that'll work. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. Okay, so I'm just going to do 4 little prints here. I want you to do 10. We're always going to do like addition of 10. Looks nice. So now I'm going to clean off my screen and I'm going to do another stencil and put it on top of here, okay? Alright, so I'm just going to take this, peel this off and just trash this. Okay, I think I got a design worked out for my next stencil, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Okay, I think I'm just about ready. To get started here. Make sure my squeegee's gonna fit. Just barely. I might need to use my bigger squeegee for this. I'll just use my bigger squeegee on this. So, what I want to do now is I want to place this down. Put my stencil over here. So these stars, these are going to work as punch outs, and you'll see how that's going to work. Just a second here. Cutting that out of the way. Alright, put my print back where I want it. You know what, I'm going to start on the first print because it's the worst of the bunch. You always want to start off with the worst. You can kind of, in case you get the hang of it. Okay, so I want to place this down where I want it. And I could go either way with this. I think I'll probably go this way. Kind of might work a little better. I think right there, I'm going to trim this down a little bit. Okay, get my bigger squeegee. Got my black ink. I'm going to put this in black. Now, I can make this as many colors as I possibly want, right? It's just every single step. I'm just going to do a 2-color for this demo. Put a star here, star here, star here. Move these around where you want them, where they got to be. Something like that. It's a little crooked. Kind of want them to look a little wonky. I'll just put one little piece here to see if this works. Okay, this is all down. Put my screen down on top. Gonna do the same thing again. I should have kept this a little longer. I don't have a lot of room there. What do you think? Yeah, it should be alright. Should be alright. Just gotta watch it. Now I'm just gonna print these really fast. I'm not even gonna worry about flooding. I'm just going to hit them like one after another after another. If I do that and I'm all set up and ready to go, I can just knock these out. I don't really have to worry about the ink drying in if I go quick. Okay, so I'm all set up, ready to print. So this is going to print the first one, and then it's going to adhere the stencil to the back of the screen. Okay, ready? It's pretty good, I like it. So if you look over here, this should be stuck, and I'm just going to make sure my squeegee doesn't go past these 2 points because I don't want to get a mess all over the place. So if you have one of these, a magic eraser, it's going to make your cleanup job a little bit easier. If you don't, you can get by with paper towels. You can also just take this outside and just blast it out with your garden hose. That's fine too. Okay, class. That wraps up the lesson for the day. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And make sure you turn on your notifications. Till next time.